What happens to your property value if it was just revealed that someone on Epstein's list lives in your neighborhood?
You are listening to Home Seller's Advantage. I'm Aaron Zapata, your co-host.
And I'm Todd Anderson, your other co-host. We are the Bald Brothers team at Impact Properties, and we are here to give you the Home Seller's Advantage.
You can find us online at www.baldbrothers.tv. Again, that's baldbrothers.tv, or you can call us at 833-305-BALD.
That's 833-305-2253. Give us a call today.
Wow, what a special topic that we've got today. It's not every day that you get to talk about different reasons why home values plummet. But we have a huge news this week about the Epstein list.
Yeah, and we're going to not talk a whole lot about the list itself, but we're going to talk about how something like that could affect the value of your home, or the perceived value, which oftentimes turns into the real actual value of your home.
That's right, because there are so many things that affect the value of your home, and some of them you maybe haven't even thought about, and then something like this comes out in the news, and we don't like to talk about it, but in California, there are laws that protect homeowners and home buyers from moving into a neighborhood where a sex offender lives.
Yep.
And so there's a law called Megan's Law.
Megan's Law, and it's open to the public. Anybody can have access to that to look and find out where any registered sex offenders live. They are required to report when they move to a neighborhood. And, if anybody ever goes to that, they'll be very surprised that it's really hard to find a place that doesn't have someone who's registered with the sex offender list.
Yeah, and I'm not sure about all of the laws and how it works and how people are supposed to register, but I do know that if they move, they're supposed to register, they're supposed to give advance notice, and there's a lot of things that go to protect the innocent and those that, want to be aware. So this list is not anything yet that's criminal, okay? We're not saying that, in this California and in the United States, we're innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
But if somebody does show up on the sex offenders list and they move into your neighborhood, or they live in a neighborhood where you're looking, that is something that you would want to know about. And so we encourage you to do the research as a homeowner looking to buy somewhere, and it's super important.
Yeah.
And your agent, if they have actual knowledge, okay, if they have actual knowledge of somebody who lives somewhere and you're buying in that neighborhood and they know about it, they are ethically required
to disclose,
to tell you that. They have to put it in writing, because we call that a material fact. And
what is a material fact? Explain that to us.
Thank you. It's not a hypothetical fact. It's a material fact, or a material issue is anything that would cause a buyer to change their mind about living in a particular neighborhood.
Yeah.
It could be as simple as, well, we saw the home during the day and it looked amazing. We went there at night and there were no parking spots, because all of the cars that were out working, they all came home, and now everybody's parked on the lawn, and we couldn't find any place, and it was crowded, and we just, that's kind of an issue.
Yeah.
And that's pretty harmless in terms of your physical harm or anything like that, but that is enough to make it a situation where a buyer maybe would have changed their mind.
Yeah.
So a material fact is something that would cause a person to make a different decision.
Yeah.
And somebody on the Megan's Law disclosure database would be a huge red flag.
That
for
certainly
most
would.
buyers.
That certainly would, because most buyers tend to be families, and so that would be a big issue. Now, you're talking about the Megan's Law and the sex offenders registry list, where we've actually gotten to the point where we know that there is some guilt there. But there's also even the perception, and some of those things can have an impact even on the desirability of a neighborhood.
That's right. So it's a great point, Todd, that we're not, talking about guilt or innocence here. We're talking about the fact that there are opinions, and opinions matter. And so we're going to talk about some of the other things that matter when it comes to determining a home's value, because if you are planning to sell this year and most likely leave the state of California, which most of our sellers end up doing, you're going to want to know how you can overcome some of these obstacles if you can. And then you're also going to know to give yourself a good idea of whether or not your home has less value than your neighbor's house.
Yeah. Because
before we do that,
hey, let's let them know who we are. Who are we, Aaron?
We are the Bald Brothers team. Thanks for tuning in today. We sell here in Southern California, and we do this program every week here on the radio, and it's also on our podcast and on YouTube. And we are two guys that have been selling real estate, me for over 20 years, and Todd and I have been teammates here for, I don't know, almost 5 years now.
About 5 years, something
5 years.
Like that,
And so we like to bring information to you in a hopefully enjoyable way. And then when you get a chance, we want you to give us a call, and we want you to subscribe to our newsletter. And you can do the subscription on our website at baldbrothers.tv. Just like it sounds, baldbrothers.tv. And how can they call us?
They can call us by picking up that phone and dialing 833-305-BALD. 833-305-BALD. And if you don't like to search for those letters, it's 833-305-2253. So give us a call, and we will love to talk with you. So
and just a reminder, if you're calling us, we do not sit at the phone 24/7 waiting for your call, but there is somebody we pay 24/7. They sit there and they will answer your call, and then they will take some detailed notes, and we will call you back. In fact, shout out to John, who called us this weekend.
That's right.
Thank you so much for actually last weekend.
Might be listening right now.
That's right. John, if you're listening, thanks for giving us a call.
And by the way, you don't want us sitting by the phone just waiting for you to call.
No.
Because you want us to be busy.
We're out working
and selling your home. And so that's where we need to be.
That's right.
So, hey, today we are talking about things that can affect the value of your property, the value of your real estate. And we want to talk about just a few things that go beyond just talking about whether your kitchen has granite, what type of flooring you have.
Mica.
Yeah. We want to talk more about the things in the neighborhood that can have an impact.
That's right. So there's an article that we want to go to real quick.
That's right.
Wall Street Journal just came out with an article on January 4th, and it says, the house was charming, but came with a catch. A murder took place there. And so crime is a huge stigma.
That is.
Especially when it is murder in a home. And so the article goes on to state that a buyer made the offer, then withdrew his offer on the grounds that he learned that there was a former owner who had killed 2 people in the home. And in fact, if you've been following the story in, I believe, Idaho, where that guy killed the 4 students.
Oh, yeah. That's big news this last year.
I believe they have decided to tear down that house.
Okay.
Because it is unsellable.
That's oftentimes what happens in these high-profile cases. But, that can also be an impact if it's not necessarily your home, but there's some form of a criminal activity that took place in the neighborhood, not necessarily on your home. That becomes an issue that can affect your saleability of your home as well.
And not just crime, okay? It could happen in the home, around the home. But if somebody dies in the home, even of natural causes, we know that we get that call all the time. Did somebody pass in the home? Yeah. And it does have an effect. There are a lot of buyers who simply will not buy a home if somebody's passed away in it.
And if you are thinking of selling your home, you should know that if there has been a death on the property within 3 years, it is required that is disclosed. And it can be simply of natural causes. Someone went home on hospice. It can be the most normal situation. You may think nothing of it, but a buyer, it might be a big deal. And so that is required to be disclosed if it's within 3 years.
Well, and the requirement is if it's, not a regularly known fact. And this article in the Wall Street Journal goes on to say that if there is an actual known, you have actual knowledge.
Yeah.
It does not matter how old, it must be disclosed. And this is a good case. We have a condo that's closing hopefully this week or next week. And there was a previous occupant that had passed away in the home. It was like 5 or 6 or 7 years ago. We didn't get all the details. We heard from a neighbor, And then we knew, okay, we have actual knowledge. And I know that this client, when they move, this buyer, when they move in, they're going to find out from this other neighbor who told us, is going to tell them, and that's going to have an effect. And so in all of our disclosures, of course, it was there. And so the buyer signs off on it, and we're closing escrow.
Yep.
So Wall Street Journal, very clear on the fact that murder or other high-profile crimes definitely affect the value of your property.
Yeah, murder, not a good thing.
Yeah.
And by the way, we'll link that article in our show notes if you want to read that Wall Street Journal article.
And it's it's not too often that it happens, but it does. And if it has happened in a home you're trying to sell, give us a call. We'll give you an accurate price for that.
What about now? That's a pretty big deal, a murder. But then, of course, there's other things that can affect your neighborhood as well. There's financial issues, and it might not be your own financial issues. You might have a neighbor that's going through financial distress, and oftentimes that might end up leading towards a distressed property where the home is just falling into disrepair and it becomes an eyesore in the neighborhood. We might talk about that a little bit later, but let's talk even about foreclosure. Because when a home goes into foreclosure, that can have an impact on the comps for the neighborhood and bring some of those values down as well.
Yeah, so whether or not you're in distress or a neighbor is in distress, oftentimes somebody who is going through a hardship is not really taking great care of your property, of their property. And so we've had clients that have asked us, what about the house next door? It looks so bad. I think they're having some financial problems. And I said, mow their lawn while you're selling your house because it will help the value of your home. And so that neighborhood, that house next door, if it is terrible, if there was a foreclosure next door, it's going to affect the value of your home. So just be aware of that.
I'll say something. The good news about that, though, is though if something goes into foreclosures, oftentimes those who purchase the home at a foreclosure sale will be fixing that property up, and they'll be fixing it up, and it won't be an eyesore for very long, or hopefully not.
That's true.
Hopefully
That's
not.
true. And oftentimes those are resold. And so at the premium for the neighborhood.
Exactly. And so that might be a quick dip.
But just the silver lining, Todd. You're such an optimist.
I'm an optimist.
Yes, but we're talking about the bad things today.
Okay, only bad.
We're
starting out 2024. Let's focus on all the bad stuff. Let's get it out of the way.
Why not? Get it out of the way, because we're going to sell lots of homes this year, and we want to help people through that process. And here's some other things that are going to affect the value of your home. But before we do that, just a quick reminder, we're the Bald Brothers team here at Impact Properties. We'd love to talk to you. I'm Aaron, and Todd is here with me. And you can watch this show on our YouTube channel at Bald Brothers Team. You can also subscribe to it at anywhere you listen to podcasts. And give us a 5-star review there. We'd love that. And then, of course, head over to our website at baldbrothers.tv, baldbrothers.tv, and or call us at 833-305-BALD. Bald is a no hair.
No hair.
Because Todd nor myself.
Matching descriptions.
That's right. We are follically challenged.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the third reason.
Is it the third reason? It's one of those.
It's 4. It's number 4. I just recounted.
What are we looking at next? Neighborhood nuisance. Is that what you have?
Exactly.
Neighborhood nuisance. Well, what is a neighborhood nuisance? Is it that bully next door that
It could be.
It could be.
It could be.
Yeah.
Todd, you and I have had lots of conversations with homeowners that they're just tired of something. And usually it's a noisy neighbor.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a neighborhood, the neighbor next door who smokes, and there's smoke that comes over all the time.
Yep.
We've had sellers who didn't get along with their neighbors, and so there was a lot of animosity between the two, and there's a lot of going on.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it, but just that's my descriptive
How do you
term
type that out if you're transcribing this episode?
Right. Give it to AI. Let them describe it. But there's just those nuisance. For example, parking. We did talk about that before.
Yeah, we did.
I've had multiple sellers over the years who have sold because they couldn't find a parking spot.
Yeah.
And they just got tired of it.
Yeah.
That's okay. But that has to be disclosed. Like it may not be obvious to somebody who's there on a Sunday afternoon in an open house. Okay. It could be a commercial property. It could be that you are directly under the flight path of LAX or John Wayne.
Yep. And there are many homes that are in such a situation. Yep.
I think another nuisance, too, that most people don't think about is proximity to wildlife. And so if you are up near the hills, you might have coyotes. You might have mountain lions. You might
Yeah.
have, rattlesnakes, especially here in Yorba Linda. There's a lot of rattlesnakes. Anaheim Hills, Yorba Linda, we see them all the time up in the hills. And so those could be things, and those are things that affect the value.
Yeah. I saw recently a video, I forget what news station I was watching, where a bear had gotten into a shed, and a guy went in there with a paintball. And I guess they call this guy to help get bears out of homes.
Paintball gun?
A paintball gun, yeah.
Wow.
With a single paintball. And a
paintball.
slingshot.
This is the best paintball in the world.
should-
We only need one. It's a grenade ball.
I don't know if we're allowed to say gun on the internet.
It
these
is what
days.
it is, And so, yeah, that's bears, lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my!
Oh my!
Right?
Oh my! Yeah.
But another noise nuisance, anything that really bothers you that the buyer who's buying your home is probably going to be bothered by. Super important that you disclose that and you price it accordingly.
Yeah.
Next one.
Well, we have insurability.
Oh boy, we all love insurance in California these days.
Yeah, and some of these things are difficult when you move into a home. All of a sudden, a natural disaster or some sort of thing happens that's outside of your control, and that can affect the insurability of your home and an entire area. And so, explain a little bit more about what we talk about when we're talking about insurability here in Southern California.
Well, in Southern California, the main one that a lot of our homeowners have an issue with is fire and flooding.
Yep.
So the two extremes, like you have fire and water, right? And so if you are in a high fire severity zone, which means that according to the geological maps of the powers that be, they have said that your home is more likely to burn in the event of a fire, like a wildfire. It could be a brush fire. It doesn't have to be a forest fire. Then you're going to have an increased premium for your home. That increased premium goes towards the cost of home ownership, which then can decrease the value of the home. So the other insurability factor is whether or not there was a history of insurance claims on the home. And so all the insurance carriers, they file their insurance claims in a master database. This master database, called the CLUE database, they then track that home. And if there are 4 or 5 insurance claims on that home, when a buyer comes to buy it, they're going to have an increased premium, if they can get it at all, for the home because of the number of claims on that specific home.
Yeah.
So it goes all different ways, but that definitely affects the value of a house.
Yeah, and by the way, we should mention we are not insurance experts.
No, we are not.
And so we recommend that you do speak with an expert when it comes to insurance. But that is something, as your real estate expert, though, that is something that we would advise you to look into when you're looking at purchasing a property. And of course, that does become an issue if you own a property moving forward, and that could, of course, have an adverse effect on your property value as well.
In fact, if our clients are listening right now, we have a set of clients that they just had a water leak in their kitchen, and they've been reaching out to me over the last couple of weeks, like, do we do an insurance claim? Do we fix it on our own? And do we call home warranty? And so we've been going through all the options for them, and it looks like they're going to file an insurance claim. And their biggest concern was, will we get kicked off the insurance plan? And if we do, is it going to be impossible for the next buyer to get a plan? So if you're looking for insurance right now, it's always super important to go to an insurance broker that can shop out your policy that you're looking for to multiple different insurance companies, especially since we've lost 7 or 8 of them here in California.
They're leaving California.
Yeah, you need a broker. So give us a call if you need a great broker.
Yep.
Let's move on because we are running out of time.
We're running out of time. We've still got more to get to.
I know.
I need to start speaking really fast.
You need to speak louder.
No,
kidding.
We were just talking before. I have a tendency to talk fast, and so I'm trying to slow down. Hopefully, I'm slowing down enough.
You talk too fast now.
Okay, hey, this next one is one. Now, a lot of the ones that we're talking about are things that can change, that are out of your control once you move into a neighborhood. But this next one is one that more than likely you would know before you move in, and that is the location of the property. If it's on a busy street, if the home backs up to a main street, there's going to be traffic noise. There's going to be a lot of traffic, and that can, of course, have an impact on the value of the home versus the exact same model that might be across the street or a couple blocks away.
Yeah, absolutely. Because busy street comes traffic, noise, safety, other concerns, ambulances, like your fire department, they all use main streets. And so if you're on that busy street, it can have a huge impact.
Yeah, and going back to the criminality aspect, even a busy street with quick access to the freeway can also be a sign of a potential. If somebody wanted to commit a crime, they can get away very quickly and very easily. And so being close to freeways is a nice thing. You have quick access, but it can kind of go both ways as well.
Todd, if the freeway is the backyard of your home, not a great thing.
Yeah, well, that's not a great thing. Yeah.
Okay. and those values can vary dramatically, as much as or more than 10%.
Oh, yeah.
By being on a busy street. We sold a house in Brea, and the front door was not on a busy street, but the garage was. And so, driving into this garage, you had cars going 50, 60 miles an hour past your garage door. Very concerning, especially to a young family with children. Like, how are we going to get in and out? In fact, the homeowner had installed an app on their garage door opener so that they could open it from like 3 blocks away so that it would be open the moment they get there. Yeah. Right? Because if they waited till they could get the remote clicker to engage with the garage door, they'd be sitting on the busy street for too long. Yeah. And so those things make a difference.
That's right.
So busy streets, location, kind of a noise nuisance. If you're right next to a house right next door that has built a 3-story home, and you're a single story, and they block your view. Yeah, I mean those things happen, right? So location is a bystander in real estate because it all matters, like a lot.
I had a friend who bought a vacation home in Lake Havasu, so this is not Southern California. Okay, it had a beautiful view of the lake.
Beautiful view.
And then someone bought the property below and built up and blocked their view.
And if you're living in Laguna, they have rules and planning commission like things that they have to go through, and you have to like install these sticks, and they put strings between them, and then they have to like hang fluorescent nylon ropes or whatever between to show how high the building's going to be. So if anybody above is going to have their view blocked, they can go down and
lodge
protest.
a complaint. Yeah.
Interesting, right?
Yeah,
lots of different reasons.
Yep. And let's get to our last one because we are running out of time.
And we got one more topic to cover.
We got one more topic. Ooh, last one. We saved this one for last because it's pretty obvious. Condition.
Yeah. If your house is old and terrible, sorry.
Yep.
It's not going to sell for as much as the house next door.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we have a great video out right now, and you should go to our YouTube channel and check it out. But it's breaking news. We have a condo that's a total fixer, and it needs all the work, and it's priced accordingly. Yeah. And so if your house is in bad condition, you get a bad price. If it's in great condition, you get a great price. Yep. It's not rocket science.
That's right.
So before we go to our last little topic here, just a reminder that you are listening to the Bald Brothers here on this
What you want me to say? You're listening to Home Seller's Advantage. Is that are those the words you were looking for, Aaron?
Those were the words I was looking for.
Let me help you out. You're listening to Home Seller's Advantage. We're the Bald Brothers team.
But you know what? We changed the name of our show last year, and you know what? It has really helped with people engage with what we're talking about. So if you're a homeowner, hopefully you find these things helpful. But this last one here, it is a report straight from U-Haul themselves.
U-Haul.
That's right.
And this report says that California, drum roll, California beats every state for most residents moving away for the 4th year in a row, according to U-Haul. California is their number one client when it comes to states that people are moving out of.
Yeah, so Texas, Florida are the gainers. That's where a lot of their U-Hauls are going to. And then there's like North Carolina, South Carolina, then Tennessee. And so those are the top 5 of one-way destinations where those trucks don't come back. Yeah. In fact, if you do want to rent a super cheap U-Haul, you can get it from any of those states and move west.
Yeah. If you want to come back to California, you got a good deal.
That's right. You might even call them and they'd be like, hey, just like take it for free.
Yeah. We'll pay you.
Well, I know a mover. He moved someone to Tennessee. He had a truck there. And then he called me and says, do you have anybody that's moving back? Yeah. I'm like, I don't. He says, man, now I got to fly out there and I have to help these people come back. Yeah. Again, if you're moving out of California, we would like to talk to you. I'm Aaron.
And I'm Todd.
And we are the Bald Brothers team. And you know what we do?
We sell homes.
Yes, we do. So give us a call today at 833-305-BALD. Thanks for tuning into our show today. God bless you, and we'll talk to you next week. The Bald Brothers team is a licensed DBA of Impact Properties, Inc., licensed by the California Department of Real Estate 091226171. Again, we do not give any real estate, legal, or financial advice. If you'd like to reach us, you can call us at 833-305-BALD, or you can reach us online at baldbrothers.tv. Equal housing opportunity.